We employed relaxation and mindfulness in order to bring forth a mental image of a conflict situation. This alone reduced the physiological arousal of a conflict situation and allows the person to create a mental image either from the present actual situation or from deep memories stored in the brain and brought up in the buffer of the blackboard. The introduction of the rope acts as a stimulus to change the picture. The picture that comes up is the one we work with. We explored the material of the rope, the strength, the length, the how it is used. We use phenomenological approaches. I have difficulty saying this word, but it is a very important part of looking at the picture. Phenomenological approach. And that approach, to remind you, is to look at what is on the page from the drawing itself, the way it is drawn, the lines, the colors, the placement on the paper, the way the people are drawn, and what is the significance of that for the person who has drawn it, not to me, for the person who has drawn it. And that is we use that to describe the drawing and look at what is relevant to the client. The client names the drawing. The reason for asking for 3 pictures is to allow the client to make a real choice. As we learned from De Bono, seeing only 2 possibilities is dichotomous thinking. 3 possibilities is creative thinking. Again, we explored all the drawings and named them. At this point, we switch to the cognitive process and evaluate each situation with positives or negative outcomes. The evaluation of a resolution contains the person's value system and willingness to put in the effort to accomplish the chosen situation. Sometimes a solution that appears to be the most desirable from the point of view of the number of pluses is rejected because 1 minus is overwhelming. Working with couples, both go through the process. They share their view of the conflict through their drawings and the solutions they devise. They may or may not come to an agreement about the actions they will take. However, the situation becomes clearer and less explosive. I will share with you one time that is stuck in my mind of a couple that came. Both of them were professionals, both in the same profession and both working in the same workplace. They came because their intimate relationship was not so good anymore, and they wanted to see what they can do about it. So each one drew the initial drawing of what the conflict really is about. And I was really struck by what the woman drew. It's really struck in my mind for many, many years. That was a long time ago. She drew her husband on a horse, a big horse, and in his hand was a rope. He was holding the rope, and she was under or behind the horse, dragged by the rope. It was a very, very vivid drawing. His drawing was completely different. His drawing was 2 people in bed with the back to each other. So he saw the conflict completely differently than she saw the conflict. Now, her three drawings were, one of them was of her on the horse and he was walking beside. She wasn't holding him by the rope, but he was walking beside. The next one was, I have to, my memory doesn't exactly, but I think the next one was him on the horse, and she is nowhere in the picture. And the third one was each one of them on a horse, but going in different directions. His pictures, his three solutions, were completely different. One of them was sitting in a coffee shop and drinking coffee together. The second one was maybe going to a beach. And the third one was something to do with perhaps hugging. So you can see that both the conflict and the resolutions were completely non-matched. For her, it's the situation at work that counted, that was the problem, that she felt that she was restricted in going on because of his dominance in the workplace, and he felt that everything is okay, it's just the situation between them, the sexual situation between them. I can tell you what happened actually. The result was that they split, and she went to work in a completely different place, in a completely different city, in the same kind of work. She excelled in her work, he excelled in his work, and that was the solution. If you're working with groups, I would recommend using the process only with conflicts that arise within the group, not individual conflicts from outside the group. So, the rope choice paradigm can be employed in individual therapy as well as in couples therapy and groups. My hope is that you add this tool to your toolbox to use as a lifelong aid for better decision making. The next few slides will show you the references that I've used so that you can see and have the references, and you can perhaps go back and look at them again. So thank you very, very much for being with us. Hopefully you've learned something. Hopefully we'll use it. And you can please write me or email me all your questions, your requests. I will be very glad to comply and correspond with you and give you as much help as I can. Thank you, and God bless.